In 2023, Formula One enters the second year of the power unit freeze. But despite engine performance being locked in, there are still opportunities for teams and manufacturers to improve. Though it will not result in huge gains, considering how close the performance of the four manufacturers is, the opportunities may be significant. The V6 engine, turbocharger, MGU-H, MGU-K, energy store, control electronics, exhaust system, fuel, and engine oil are among the 9 frozen power unit and related elements, with final specification deadlines falling in March and September of last year. This means that they cannot be changed for the rest of the current rules cycle, which runs until the end of 2025. While it is impossible to directly improve performance, Alpine Executive Director Bruno Famin, head of the engine base at Viry-Châtillon, France, that builds the Renault power unit, adds that there are very small margins where packaging can be improved. And more recently, the top teams, Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes, have been said to have some small upgrades for the next season, which we'll dive into later in the video. We'll first uncover why it's even possible for these teams to upgrade the engines during a so-called engine freeze. There is no real margin, to be honest, because by rule, you cannot improve the performance of the engine, said Famin, when asked how much margin there is for improving the power unit. What we can do is try to improve the performance of the car, and the possibility we still have as per the regulation is the packaging. For example, we can imagine changing the inlet line or exhaust line to allow our colleagues from Enstone to make better aerodynamics. This is where we are working. We're working of focus in the use of the energy management. But here again, we're going to be very limited, as we're going to have only one software version per year now. We are pushing like that, but it's more on the drivability. We're going through the ideas to progress, which is very small margins. It's not pure performance, it's more drivability and integration aero games. The laws also allow for minimal incidental changes, although these are closely regulated and only apply to 7 categories. This is categorized as for car installation purposes. These apply to wiring, the exhaust system, provided the key defining parameters remain fundamentally unchanged, the turbo compressor position, within 20mm of the original position relative to the ICE, turbo clocking and turbo supports, the position of wastegates with housing and pipes, the position of pop-off valves with housing and pipes, and minor details of the air inlet system. While none of them make a significant difference, they can be utilized to make minor changes to the power unit's packaging for possibly marginal performance benefits. Alterations to homologated power unit parts are permitted for the sole purpose of reliability, safety, and cost saving, as well as the aforementioned minor incidental changes. Another way to enhance engine performance is to improve reliability. This not only reduces the likelihood of retirements or problems interfering with weekends, but also allows the power unit to be run more aggressively. To update these, the manufacturer must submit a formal request to the FIA technical department, together with supporting documentation, such as evidence of failures and planned revisions. These adjustments are then communicated to all competitors. Last year, Renault, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull Honda all made many such demands. Alpine modified its water pump following Fernando Alonso's retirement in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. However, this did not resolve the issues that Alpine wants to have resolved for this year. Famin believes that the FIA will be less tolerant in granting adjustments for reliability reasons in 2023, and that such changes can lead to performance advantages in how parts can be run. What is a pure, genuine reliability issue? Said Famin when asked if there were concerns that changes might not be made for genuine reliability issues, rather but to exploit the rule for improved performance. Then, behind the reliability issue, you often have a potential performance gain, of course. The limit is not exactly always super clear. If you have a water pump issue, as we had in 22, it's quite clear it's a pure reliability issue. There's nothing to gain in having a better or different water pump. If need to change the material of the piston rings, okay, you'll be able to have something stronger to have more performance. Then where is the limit? It's not obvious. The process in 2022 with the FIA and the other PU manufacturers has been quite good. It's been transparent, at least, in that everybody was aware of the request, and this is very good. It's been well managed by the FIA. I am expecting the FIA to be a bit stronger in the future, but I have no new information. While all power unit manufacturers will unavoidably have parts of their power unit package locked in by homologation restrictions that they would ideally modify, Alpine believes the Renault E-Tech engine architecture is well optimized. According to technical director Matt Harmon, this provides the team with the opportunity to maximize the overall aerodynamic performance of the car and represents the significant advancements gained in the integration of what is one of only 3 full-fledged works teams in F1. It also rewards the team for being ambitious in the specification of the 2022 power unit, given the necessity for gains. This includes Mercedes' 2014 transition to the split-turbo concept, which it pioneered in F1, as it, like all manufacturers, was focused on ensuring no performance was left on the table, given the opportunity to fix reliability issues later. "There are some very minor things," said Harman when asked if there were any limitations in the power unit architecture that would ideally be changed. "But we worked on that architecture very early on, and I was very clear on what we needed from that. We delivered on absolutely everything, which is one of the reasons why we had to make that decision on prioritizing performance over some of the reliability aspects. That has enabled us to have the freedom and the space in the car for the next X number of years to express ourselves. And that is in a number of areas of heat rejection, in volumetric packaging, in stiffness, and all the things that we've worked on over the last few years. Viry have done an absolutely fantastic job of achieving that architectural step, because it was a very large one from them. If you've seen pictures of the power unit and compare that to the previous pre-2022 one, you'll see what I mean. They really have done a fantastic job. So now we know how the teams might be able to enhance their engines during the engine freeze years. But what kind of performance can we expect from the teams? So, starting with last year, Ferrari was forced to reduce the output of his car due to reliability issues with the power unit. If Ferrari can resolve this issue, it appears that it will be a quick and dangerous competitor again this year. And we all know the teams are not permitted to make major changes to the power unit in the coming years due to the engine freeze. The restrictions, however, allow formations to work on reliability, and Ferrari has made the most progress in this regard. At the outset of the 2022 season, Ferrari appeared to be exceptionally quicker and a major danger to Red Bull Racing. However, the poor performance of the so-called turbulent jet ignition technology put them into difficulties, and this, along with strategic errors, ruined the season for the Italian squad. If Ferrari can solve its technical issues, the engine's power output might grow by up to 30 horsepower, according to La Gazzetta dello Sport, a larger gain than Mercedes and Red Bull. This year, Mercedes and Red Bull are also focusing on increasing power unit reliability even further. Mercedes achieves this by focusing on lowering internal mechanical friction, whilst Honda, Red Bull's engine supplier, focuses on improved engine dissipation. According to the Italian media, this results in 16 horsepower and 10 horsepower for the teams respectively. These figures are lower than Ferrari's, and if both teams can get the most out of their engines, the battle for the World Championship could be close. Alpine, on the other hand, claims to see no changes in their power unit, and hence doubts that the increase in horsepower at the other teams is purely due to an improvement in PU dependability. So will these minor reliability updates really result in horsepower increasing, such as 30 horsepower, 16 horsepower, or even as little as 10 horsepower? We won't know for sure until we see the new cars hit the grid in a month. What do you think? Will the teams be able to enhance their power units even more? And is this a fair thing to do whilst in the middle of an engine freeze? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.